it didn't dawn on me how much I was doing to my own detriment, how careless I was being, how just frivolous and um, how much I took for granted the assumption that I would somehow stay in this pocket of weight, or I wouldn't gain weight or whatever.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to Let's Talk Sis. I'm Shekinah, your host, and as we spend time together, I can promise you three things. I'll be honest, I'll make you laugh, and I won't hold back. Let's Talk Sis is your essential girl talk destination where you'll hear about life from the perspective of a black woman in America, as our stories often go untold. I can assure you, while honest, we are a community for growth and love. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and let's talk, sis.
Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome back to another of Let's Talk Sis. Y'all know every time I get on this mic, every time I get in front of that camera, every time I get on these sound waves, I am so excited. I just love talking to y'all, to myself, to us, to we, the collective, and I just appreciate y'all supporting me. So let's get into another dope episode. This week it's just you and me. It's just us girls. We're just gonna chat. We're just gonna catch up a little bit. I'm just gonna tell you a little bit of my business and feel free to tell me some of yours. Okay, leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and please share the channel. We are trying to grow and build this community, and I can't do that without y'all support. So show up and let me know who you are. I always want to know more about my audience so that I can make sure I am serving you the proper tea. Okay, so before we get into it, we have just a couple of quick announcements. As I mentioned last week, if y'all want to support the Let's Talk Sis community on a monetary level, meaning to help us grow our production, help us get in front of more people, help us provide more resources to the community, you can always buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Let's Talk Sis. We'll put the website right up here. And your support, again, it just goes to fueling me, fueling our community, making sure that I can keep coming at you every single week, because this is a completely independent production. Absolutely nobody told me to get up on this mic and run my mouth. I just decided that's what I wanted to do. So, help your girl out. Help me out. Also, if you want to commit and you want to get a little more connection and community and be a little bit more involved in the LTS sisterhood, you can head over to my Patreon. My Patreon is able to access this episode and watch live, as well as my YouTube subscribers. So they get to be a part of the conversation. They get to hear the information, the tea before it comes out. They get to see the behind the scenes, the setup, the unedited version of all the things Let's Talk Sis. Not only that, but the Patreon is also an exclusive community where we share stories, where we exchange our wisdom, our information, and we have fun. I am getting ready to start bringing out some girls' nights in the sisterhood where we can just get together on a virtual platform, hang out, do crafts, have cocktails, do hair, chit chat, kiki, and it be a whole vibe and feel no pressure. Feel like you're amongst women who truly get you. And this is a grown woman place, okay? I just turned 30, but I'm in the club, okay? So we grown over here. We having mature conversations. We're having fun. We're supporting each other. It's not a space for jealousy or clout or anything like that, but really just to help support your fellow sister. So if you want more information about that, head over to patreon.com/Let's Talk Sis. Again, I'll put that link above here so that you can have all that information that you need. You can support at different levels, different tiers, get you access to just different types of content, more resources that I'll be putting out. So I would appreciate you heading over and supporting me. Every little bit counts. Every little bit goes a long way. So thank y'all so much. So let's get into it. Okay. Normally, I would start the episode off with, well, as of recently, normally I would start the episode off with Go Off Sis, where I brag on somebody else and I read you their bio and, I share all the things about them. But I feel like, this week, why don't I just read you my bio? It's something I don't think that I've shared on the podcast. It's not that it's really, that impressive, but it's like if I'm gonna promote somebody, I'm gonna promote myself. Okay. So give me just a second. Hold on. I should have had this queued up. Okay, about me. If you want this information, you could also visit imshekina.com. IMSHEKINAH.com. I am a trailblazing entrepreneur, keynote speaker, and the ultimate brand bestie for business owners ready to show up with clarity and confidence. Born in Michigan, shaped in Florida, and now thriving in Virginia, I bring nearly a decade of marketing experience, magic to every stage, session, and strategy. As the founder of LTS Promotions and the host of the Let's Talk Sis podcast, I am passionate about creating powerful spaces where Black women can be seen, heard, and celebrated. I work closely with clients to take their ideas from ideation to creation through brand strategy and, excuse me, from ideation to creation through brand clarity sessions, strategic consulting, and done for you marketing services. Whether I'm behind the scenes or behind the mic, I empower audiences to ditch confusion, define their brand, delivering captivating keynotes that blend both truth telling and actionable brand strategy. I'm also available for bookings as a host, panel moderator, MC, or guest speaker, bringing my signature mix of energy, authenticity, and expertise into every room I step into. I am Shekinah Holiday. Hey y'all, so that's me. That's what I am working on and through in this season of my life as, a branding bestie, a branding strategist. I'm really just, excited about this next chapter. So, as I don't know if I spoke about this on the podcast, but like the long term goal for me personally is just be a public speaker. In terms of financial like income, I'll be doing a million and one other things also, but like mainly, I want to be flued out to come speak on the stage, do exactly what I'm doing right now, and go home. Right? Nothing too crazy. And preparing, responsible, curated messages for different audiences, and so I know that there are other things and businesses that I want to implement to help uphold that and support that and funnel to other products and services that public speaking can bring me. So I want to basically when I get on the stage, I want there to also be something that I offer you after I get off this stage, or that I don't physically have to show up all the time to work for. So that's a long term um, vision of mine as well. So I just thought I would share that and let me know what you think. So here's a little life update for you. I am starting a 10 two different processes. Okay, one personal development, and one professional development. Now, as I say this aloud, I don't know if it was the best thing or if it was kismet that I am doing both of these processes of development at the same time. So, on the personal development side, you'll remember our guest, Kimberly Jackson, from a few weeks ago. She and I are working together for me to complete her program called Discover Your Destiny. And it is a 10-week process of doing just that, discovering who you are as God has designed you to be, and this is my interpretation of the program, right? This is not her language, this is my interpretation of the program. And sort of like why I'm trying to do this, right? So it's a 10-week process of, understanding God and who He's designed you to be, and how that design is intended to show up in the world. She uses this analogy in just module one of, imagine we're going into a hardware store and we're picking out a light bulb. And there are some light bulbs that are, long and cylindrical. There are some that are round at the top, and then they have a little screw, that you screw in somewhere. There are some that are big and round, all different shapes of light bulbs. But, there's a particular one that we're looking for, and that one is you, or that one is me. And our purpose is to bring light into this world. And if the right bulb is not put into the right socket, it will not work, regardless of how much you try to finagle, finesse, or change, you know, the situation. If the right bulb is not put into the right socket, it will not bring light into the world. Not because it's not capable, not because that's not what it was designed to do, but because it's in the wrong environment or the wrong formula or setup. So this process is designed to help us figure out, well, which bulb am I? And because I'm this bulb, this is the environment, situation, routines, habits, boundaries that I need to put in place so that I can then bring light to the world. So all that, child, just from page one. Okay, I'm ready. I am here for the process of introspection. I am here for the process of getting to know myself better, and even more, getting to know God and how He is. I think I can I'm starting to understand who He is, and that He is a Father. He is a good God. He is sovereign. He is omnipresent, omnipotent. All those things we hear. That is who He is. He's good. He's kind. He's love. He's patient. All of that is who He is. But I'm very interested to see how He is. How does He show up? How does He speak? How does He move? How does he handle situations? For example, the Bible talks a lot about suffering. God is a God who will allow suffering, but how He shows up is that He will be with you through it all. And it's not to necessarily always be a bad thing. Sometimes the suffering you're going through is a refining process to bring you into something better. Often, always, because all things are working for your good. That suffering is to bring you into something better. And so that is how He engages with certain things. And sometimes we can think, oh, suffering is always the devil. That's the devil, that's the devil, that's the devil. And sometimes it is. But a lot of times it's not. So, in this whole personal development process, I'm just really interested in learning more about myself, and who God is, and how He shows up, and how He's designed me to be, so that I can be all that. Her. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be all that and a bag of chips with a little dip on the side. So that's the personal development piece. The professional development piece is a business development program here locally that a couple people have told me about and urged me to kind of join, which basically their goal is just that, is to help me take this small business idea, put the right pieces in place, do the development, um, create the language, spend the time, do the homework to um, to get my first sale, to get my first contract, to get my business legitimized, so that I can grow, so that I can get clients, so that I'm looked at as a viable business, so that I'm plugged in with the right people. I need a Black professional network. I spoke about this on episodes prior. I should not have to do everything. I should be able to say I know somebody who can do that. I got a guy. I got a girl. I got a person. My so and so knows how to do that or whatever. And if I don't know somebody directly, somebody I know knows somebody, right? And that's the point of a professional network. And so this program is going to allow me to develop that. It's going to allow me to, again, just make sure my business is something I can stand on and that people can feel comfortable and confident hiring and doing the work for them. So that's a 12-week program. There's going to be homework. My boo and I are going to do it together, but independently. Obviously, we have two different businesses, but it'll be nice to um, take on this next phase in development together, so we can kind of grow in that arena together. So I'm interested to see what that dynamic will look like for us, and I will be happy to report back to you. Um, and let you know how that goes. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Let's talk, sis. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation today, okay? So what I want to talk about, I spoke, a couple weeks. I don't know at what point the order of the episode is. I'm sorry I keep moving my hair, y'all. I'm hot. I got a jacket on. I have a ring light in front of me, and I've got weave, synthetic at that, in my hair. It's these little boho braids, and they cute or whatever, but ooh, I'm a hot box. Hold on, how can I do it? There's that, but I still have to look cute for the camera. So maybe I just don't need so much hair up front. If you guys are listening and not watching, you can head over to YouTube to see my cute braids. And comment, be a part of the conversation. Let me know you're here. We are on YouTube Live right now. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, so I've been talking about my 10 commandments recently over the past few weeks. And so this week, I want to talk about I will prioritize physical activity. Now, I'm not talking about these in any particular order because there aren't weighted necessarily one more heavily than the other than I will live Christocentrically. Like, that's kind of a non-negotiable that's got all the weight on it. And then also I will prioritize physical activity. I don't feel like that those two will ever really change on my commandments. But I know number one won't, but number two maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I want to talk about that because one, I wanted to start by saying how grateful I am for this platform, right? Because I know it is to create safe space for Black women, my audience, the people listening, but it's also for me to, if you know, since the beginning, this was a platform originally created for me to have a little diary, for me to be able to talk and express and learn, invent and get things off my chest. And over time, it has developed into these conversations that I'm having with Black women. And I had my cousin on here a couple months ago, Wanda Miller, and she was just talking about her fitness journey and, how the health struggle she's overcome and having a stroke and losing weight and gaining weight. And she really honed in on the concept for me that my physical activity and my weight loss should not necessarily be tied together. It shouldn't. My physical activity should not be predicated on my weight loss. I guess is a better way to say it. Physical activity is a lifestyle. It is a thing I'm doing for life. It is something that I need to be willing to commit to engaging in, regardless of if I ever lose a pound. Now, I think that would be possible, but not not impossible, but that's not the point, right? For me, um, yes. So I got minding my black ass business in the chat, and she says she likes thinking about those things separately. And for me, it hadn't really dawned on me. So my workout journey story, if you will, um, didn't really exist up until recently. I was an athlete in as a student, right? I was always active. I was in dance. I was a cheerleader. I played basketball. I played volleyball. I even tried soccer real quick, but then I slipped, fell in the mud, was over that. Then middle school, I was on the basketball team. You know, that's sprints, running up and down, all the things. So I never looked at working out as something I had to decide to do. It was just kind of an activity built into the things I was doing, the things I enjoyed. It was fun, you know, going to practice, seeing my friends, playing the sports. And then high school, I was a cheerleader, you know, so it was just an extracurricular activity that just happened to involve physical activity, right? So I didn't really consider that that was built into my life, right? And at that time, I also didn't think I was small, fit, trim, reasonably sized at all. I've always grown up thinking I was a little overweight on the plus size side. That's where I shopped. I wasn't shopping in the juniors department. I was in the women's department. You know, with the grown women, getting the grown women's pants, and you know, couldn't wear pleated skirts because I got a booty, and you know, I can't be having my booty out. And you know, all the little projections that you hear from adults around you who, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know, you know, they just have their ways of expressing and talking about young people coming into their bodies. And there wasn't conversation around how to necessarily maintain or influence what was happening in my body other than to stop doing things. So don't eat so many sweets. Don't use a lot. Yeah, don't um, drink alcohol. Right? Yeah, work out, but it wasn't put. I don't know. It just wasn't something I really thought to myself. I need to do this to, and it will affect change. Because I guess in my mind, I was being physically active, and I don't know, it just, this is just my body, this is just how it is, you know. I ain't Respucia in this mug, but I'm also not like Tiana Taylor, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay in this middle ground, right? And so then you turn 21 and you start drinking alcohol at 21, um, and all throughout college, and all throughout, you know, your social life in college. And then I was not working out then. I just was blessed, I guess. I don't know. And then I started working for Enterprise in my early 20s, and that was a very physical job. I was literally outside, um, walking, getting my steps in, not really realizing the impact that the physical activity was having on my life and on my body. So again, it wasn't something I clocked in and was like, "Yep, got to make sure I started working out," you know. So anyway, it just was not something I again clocked that. Oh, I'm actually getting my 10,000 steps a day because I'm walking to and from the car lot, back to the car, back inside, back outside to wash the car, back to the customer, back and back and back and back and back and back. I looked at pictures, I was like, oh, okay, that's what kept me right. Then I stopped Enterprise. Then I went through some tumultuous things in relationship, in friendship, that I believe really latched on to this gut and decided to stay in there. That trauma, that emotional toll, that was it the cortisol levels that went through the roof, mind you, I didn't know nothing about that, during these times, and and it's a sneaky mother trucker because spandex exists and leggings exist, and so you putting that on thinking you fine, but really it's the spandex doing all the work. You have a gut under there, sister. You have a belly. You are not the same size that you were. You have actually gained weight, but because your clothes still fit, you don't really notice. I didn't really notice. And so I say all this to say my story, my journey with weight and exercising and all the things. I was completely naive, oblivious, ignorant to the lack of control I had over my body. I didn't it didn't dawn on me. It just sounds so stupid to say it out loud, but this is what I'm here for. It didn't dawn on me how much I was doing to my own detriment, how careless I was being, how just frivolous and how much I took for granted the assumption that I would somehow stay in this pocket of weight, or I wouldn't gain weight or whatever. So I say all that to say, then I had my cousin on the podcast, and she just started talking about how physical activity is a lifelong thing. And so then it really got me to thinking, okay, people do this every day in terms of losing weight. People do this all the time. So what can I do? How can I control we don't know. We don't know. Like, so what don't I know? Right. She just said we don't know what we don't know. So it's like, what don't I know? Okay, let me learn about this whole calorie thing. This whole calorie counting thing. Y'all, if you have not dove into understanding a caloric diet, I encourage you to do it. And what it does for you is it helps you make better decisions. There are people, so basically, calories are points. Let's say that. They say the average American diet is 2,000 calories, 2,000 points a day. You get to eat 2,000 points a day. And in eating these 2,000 points a day, now, everything depends, okay? Know your numbers. This is just like any other medical dietary situation. You got to know your numbers. But depending on height, weight, age, I asked ChatGPT for a lot of information. How accurate it is, I don't know, but I think it's been helpful. I'm down 6 pounds. So, but that's over 6 months. Also, but stay with me now. So you get 2,000 calories, 2,000 points. Your job throughout the day is to decide how are you going to divide up those 2,000 calories based on what you eat. There are foods that are high in calories and low in calories. Now, in that calorie point system, you also want to consider your protein. Depending on certain goals, depending on what you're trying to do, will determine how much protein you want. You want to add protein because your body essentially works harder to break that down, from my understanding. Now, please correct me if I am wrong. Please. Your body works harder to break down that protein. Now, you also want to add a lot more fiber, okay? Fiber helps to move all of those things you're putting in your body out, to get all that gunk out. Scrapes down the walls of your stomach and gets it out, okay? Don't need any more graphics than that. When you start to realize how much calories are in things, you realize how just ridiculous the American diet is, okay? For example, I was a chronic get off of work, go stop at the gas station, give me a snack, a chip, a candy, and a drink. A bag of hot Cheetos Let me look it up because I don't want to be wrong and loud because I'm gonna be loud. A bag of hot Cheetos is about 400 calories. 400 calories of the 2,000 that we have. That's a snack. That ain't including the fact that I'm about to have a burger, some fries, and a Coke. Now, I'm saying this to say you can have the hot Cheetos, you can have the burgers, the fries, the snack, the Coke, but we can't have it all every day. All day. Cause I had a bagel and some cream cheese and a coffee. That's about 400 calories. Don't let me add some bacon. Because these are very realistic meals, people. And I'm just saying this to say how easy it is to rack up these calories when you are not aware. A bagel, cream cheese, a coffee, and some bacon. 600 calories. A snack, midday snack, some hot Cheetos, and some peanut M&Ms. Another, let's say 600 calories. I'm at 1,200 calories of my 2,000 and I'm not even at 12 o'clock. This is me, people. Noonday. I'm going to Chipotle. Let's go to Chipotle. Let's get a bowl. Let's get the rice. And I'm getting the chips. And I'm probably going to get a Sprite with some lemonade mix. That's my favorite. With the sour cream, add guac. Okay. That's probably another 800 calories. And I'm being generous. That's probably another 800 calories. I'm literally at 2,000 calories. I have not had my dinner and some sweet. And don't let me go out to drinks that night. So do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying this because when I had that revelation, I was like, holy sugar, honey iced tea. I have just been carelessly doing these things. And so what understanding calories has done for me is say, okay, again, I can have the cake, I can have a burger, I can have a Cheeto, but I need to balance it out with other things. I need to be responsible with my body. I need to be responsible with what I am eating because I actually can affect my physicality. It actually matters, friend. Okay. 2, working out, being active, it has made me feel so proud of myself because it is something I'm doing consistently. It's something I feel strong in. And let me tell you, I just started with walking. I just started with walking. If I was like, in 20 minutes at that, I am just going to walk for 20 minutes. And that's it. I'm not gonna feel bad. I'm not gonna pressure myself. I'm not gonna, you know, beat myself up to be doing freaking burpee jump squats over the bridge. Hell no. I'm just gonna walk for 20 minutes. And before you know it, that turned into, you know what? If I could watch the Real Housewives, I could walk while I watch it. So now I'm walking for an hour. And now, okay, well, let me try and add some weights, right? And it's such a gradual process, but I had to have grace with myself. I had to understand, you know what? If all I do is walk for the next year, I got, God willing, 80 more of them, to figure out the rest of this workout journey. But for now, this is what I'm going to do. And this is where I'm going to show up. And this is why I can be consistent and proud of myself in. And so, now I'm doing more dynamic workouts. I'm doing full body and strength training and weightlifting. And bitch, I could do a lunge with some weights. Okay, get at your girl because my knees sounding like popcorn. Okay, trying to do a daggone lunge just because they were just so inactive. And your body just starts to feel better. And so, I mean, yeah, but I hope that this has encouraged some people to know and understand that you are more powerful than you think. You are more capable than you think. Damn, that made me about to cry. You can have the things that you want. You just have to do it. You just have to go after it. You just have to find the information, and start somewhere. Just start somewhere. Be kind to yourself. Be understanding and be loving. Damn, y'all made me cry. This is turning 30, okay? Everything makes me cry. I, everything already made me cry. So, if you want to be like me, down 6 pounds and full of tears, start walking. Just start walking. Oh man, this is great. Just start walking, and you know what the beautiful revelation in walking was? Because God is in everything. He's just so good. Oh man, I just love this. I just love that. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna make it so they have no excuses. They have no excuses because even if you can't get your ass to the gym, even if you don't have no weights, even if you don't know nothing about no resistance bands, you can get your butt up and walk. And even if you don't have a trail, a pathway outside somewhere, you can walk in place. You can put one foot up in front of the other and actively maintain the temple that I gave you. You don't need nothing other than what I gave you. I gave you everything you need. And isn't that such a testimony and a testament to who God is and how he works, as we talked about at the top of the episode? And so I will close with that in saying you have everything you need already by God's design. Amen and amen. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all every time you come back. Please share this episode with somebody. And if you have not already, like and subscribe. And if you want even more access, even more tears, even more conversations, please head over to our Patreon, the LTS Sisterhood. I would love to see you there. Thank y'all. Bye bye.